Welcome, you have reached Emperiol Sports. Today's video is in reference to Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Let's get into it. So there is a fight between that's coming up between Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson 54, Roy Jones Jr. 51. Everybody's seen the explosive videos by Mike Tyson posted about 2 months ago, and then it started this chain of, man, even at Tyson's age, look how he moved. They said Tyson's interested in about coming back to boxing. Who would he fight? Then you see Holyfield come out with some video, didn't look too good. Then he came out with a better video. Still, everybody was like, whatever. And then all of a sudden, the Roy Jones popped up out of nowhere in July that's who Tyson's supposed to fight. And so since then, the energy has been created. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. Roy Jones been doing interviews. Tyson been doing interviews. Tyson is looking in tip-top shape. It's going to be on pay-per-view. Tyson's alleged to be giving his or partial or all of his earnings to charity. So it was set for September 12th, 2020. You know, we've been out of sports for so long. We itching for all types of sports. So you got basketball, the restarted NBA right now. Then football should be by the end of the month, going into September. Then September 12th is supposed to be a whole bunch of boxing undercards. Then you had this big pay-per-view September 12th. Now we just got word that it's been postponed to November 28th, 2020. And when I see that, it's saying to me like, all right, you're postponing this pay-per-view bout. And the reason so far that they gave, is that they figure they can maximize their pay-per-view dollars by November 28th. I don't see how that's so. That if they September 12th pay-per-view dollars is not going to change the November pay-per-view dollars. Now if they're saying by the 28th of November the CV-19 can clear up more people might be more comfortable with coming into an arena, and we could make more dollars by having people actually at the venue, then I can see them saying that. But by saying change it from September the 12th to November 28th, well, what's that difference right there? That's no difference. People are itching to see. I think this fight is at pay-per-view max capacity. People would pay is willing to pay a 54-year-old Mike Tyson, a 51-year-old Roy Jones. Where Roy Jones, Tyson last fights in his late 30s, he didn't have the desire. He was just getting beat by random guys. Roy Jones has fought as late as 2018. And Roy was still, last couple fights, he was getting knocked out. So it's like, people want to pick this pay-per-view money up now just to see this. And yeah, Tyson is spearheading with the social media. So it's at its peak now. Let's go. People want to watch it. But so when I say they pushing it back to November 28th, they say they want to maximize the pay-per-view dollars. I'm thinking about, man, it's got something to do with the what people actually at the venue. That's what I'm thinking, in my opinion, because the people intrigued. Now another thing I throw in there is around that time you got some pay-per-view bouts with Earl Spence Jr. and Danny Garcia. You have some pay-per-views with Tank Davis. I don't know when that Tank Davis, Javante Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. I don't know when that pay-per-view is. But I know Errol Spence and Danny Garcia's around November. So I don't know if they're thinking it's holiday time. People was more festive. No. People was itching right now. The September date was perfect. People going to tune into that. Um, then you got the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury rematch in December, I think that is. So when I think of that, are they trying to compete and take the holiday dollars away from these people, these other people that's fighting around that time? To, if like people want to pay for what they pay for, but let's just say, okay, you like, if I'm paying for this pay per view for Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, then I might not pay for the pay per view for Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder 3. And it's like Tyson been saying this whole run, Roy Jones alluded to as well, that even though these are old boxers, their fan base is bigger than the fan base of today's boxers. Now they mention all that, but they don't. They make sure that they leave out Mayweather, because Mayweather's fan base is over. In my opinion, he wasn't as electrifying as Roy Jones, like prime for prime, or electrifying as Roy Jones or Mike Tyson, but his popularity and fan base is bigger than both of theirs. They don't mention that, but Floyd Mayweather is the biggest draw in boxing. Period. It's been proven. So, but back to the scenario, it makes it think like either okay if Mike Tyson or Roy, it gives Roy, because I think I watched the interview where it said Roy was saying how he wasn't, like, it's not like he wasn't in shape, but he wasn't like in real like fighting shape or whatever. So it gives Roy more chance to get in better shape um, for that fight in November, and Tyson could continue whatever he's doing. But I think it is a disappointment. It is a disappointment. I think the September 12th date was perfect, and I think either they giving guys time to get in better shape, or they want more people at the venue to actually be inside the venue to watch the fight, so they can maximize on the dollars that way. Because they're giving up a hefty paycheck to these fighters to fight, because they're going off of their name, and or they just being divas, just put up a high pay-per-view number just so that they can compare it to all the people that's still fighting and say, hey, these old timers came in and fought and they got better pay-per-view numbers than, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3, and they're in their primes and stuff like that. So, that's what I'm thinking, also. But thanks for tuning into the video. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and tell me what you think. Comment. Till next time.